Okay. All right, we're back on Drive On, and today we have a little bit different flavor as per usual. It's been the theme of this channel lately. We've been playing with a lot of different RC things, and today we're gonna talk about this one. This is my 1981 RC Ford Bronco. Let's do it. All right, so as you can see, we're at the park here with my daughter Violet. We've been having a ton of fun with RC stuff, and this is not necessarily a new truck of mine. I've had this for quite some time, but I recently put some work into it. So without further ado, this is the Losi Tenacity. You might remember this from the early days. This is a 1/10 scale short course truck. And full disclosure, Horizon did send us this back in the day, so I technically didn't pay for this, but I have had it for about 4 years now, and it's been a ton of fun. We've been having a ton of fun with it. We've been very terrible to it, and it keeps coming back for more. It's not without problems. Just like any RC thing, nothing's perfect, but in general, it's been a great platform, and I've recently upgraded it to this 1981 Ford Bronco, which I'm a little biased, but I think it's pretty sweet looking. So first things first, there's a lot of RC content out on the internet, and I think if you're considering getting into RC or maybe getting into your first RC car, one of the tips that I personally have is it's really important to consider the type of person who is giving you the information, because it could be coming from a lot of different types of perspectives. There's a lot of different types of RC hobbyists out there, like professional people who are sponsored, people who are looking for top-notch precision and performance. Maybe they're racers, they're RC car racers or something like that. Me, myself, I did work in the RC industry for quite some time. I worked at a company called Flight Test. If you haven't checked them out, make sure you give them a follow. And so I've been around the industry for a very long time, but all that being said, I consider myself now just a casual hobbyist. I don't take it too seriously. That's actually one of my favorite things about the hobby, is that you don't have to take it too seriously. And I just like driving things. I like operating vehicles and stuff like that. And so that's the perspective that all of this information is coming from. Typically, I like to run stock setups. Modern day RC products pack a ton of performance, more than most people in my opinion need, more than I need. And so most of my RC setups are mostly stock with some light modifications here and there. And this 1981 Bronco is no exception. So again, this is the original Losi Tenacity SCT. You might remember it from the old videos back in the day. We did a nice review on it. You can check that out in the links below. There's also a time where we made a mega ramp and I ran into myself, which was also fun. But lately, I've been kind of revitalizing this thing and breathing some new life into it. All right, so for a proper speed run, you need a proper battery, and that's why we got this guy, is the 5,000 milliamp 3-cell. This rig will run off of 2S or 3S. The more cells you add on a battery, basically just the more voltage, the more power, more top speed. So this thing, I believe out of the box, was rated like around 60 mile an hour. And we're gonna see if it still can do that after all these years. This thing's going on about 4 years old, which is crazy. All right, so the first thing about speed runs, especially high velocity speed runs like these, it's actually it's a pretty serious process. You need to make sure that you have plenty of space. We're at a wide open parking lot, but we do have occasional traffic coming into the dumpsters over there, people recycling, which I appreciate. So we just gotta keep an eye out for that. It's rush hour here. Recycling bins. All right, there is a very little to no chance that Austin's actually gonna capture this on camera, but we'll see what's gonna happen.
There you go.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
Maybe like not at my ankles.
Quick. It's an ankle breaker for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Nice try.
Okay, you got any tread left?
Nope.
Yeah, the tire's nice, right? So this was my first time painting the body. If I remember when I painted this thing.
Yeah.
And so it comes clear and it comes with some masking tape and it's kind of like a fun little project, but it comes with everything you need, including the window mask. So you mask off the inside of the clear body and you mask it based on how many colors you want to paint on it. I did 3 colors. I did blue, white, and black. And so I kept it pretty simple. And then you want to do light coats, and I did several, I forget exactly how many, maybe 4 or 5 light coats to get it to where it is. And so far it's been holding up pretty good. I specifically used Tamiya paint. The blue paint is the Tamiya paint that you can find at a lot of different hobby stores. And then I used the white paint. They didn't have Tamiya, so I used the Traxxas stuff. I definitely like the Tamiya stuff better than the Traxxas stuff. The Traxxas stuff was kind of messy. So beyond that, it's basically stock. I've replaced a couple different things over the years. Again, we've been really terrible to this, and so I've replaced a couple gears. We've stripped a couple gears after running this thing on 3-cell and some thick grass. This thing is really fast and it has a ton of power. And so it makes sense that the gears would strip out on some thicker grass where there's a little bit more resistance. Beyond that, I did break the actual chassis plate once, but again, we were jumping these things off of things that you shouldn't be.
Oh! Nice, dude. Stuck the landing.
Just gonna back it down.
Okay.
Here she comes.
Oh! That scared me.
And it actually holds up to the beatings pretty well, but I found the breaking point. The good news is that from what I can remember, it was a while ago, but replacing the chassis was actually pretty straightforward. I wouldn't necessarily call it a small project, but it was pretty straightforward in taking everything apart and putting it onto a new chassis plate. I've replaced the servo in this thing, and I also replaced the wheels and tires. Now these wheels and tires, I've been trying a lot of different cheap setups from online, and I found these ones on Amazon, and they seem to be holding up. Wheels and tires can really make or break your RC experience, and especially like this, something that is 4-wheel drive, it has a ton of torque and it has a ton of top speed. You definitely want to have a nice tire that can withstand that. A lot of these tires will explode under that high velocity if you're going like 50, 60 miles an hour, which on 3-cell, this thing will do. Now, there's a couple reasons why I like this particular truck, the Tenacity, but just this type of truck in general. There's a lot of different options out there. There's the Slashes. Arma makes some options now. Losi still has a lot of newer versions of this Tenacity that you can get. I'll put a couple links down in the description below, but this is a 1/10 scale, and the 1/10 size is just a good size because one, I think it's big enough that you can run it and it feels like a big vehicle when you're driving it, but it's not so big and has so much mass that it doesn't break when you crash it. It's not too big for its own good. And also the other thing is that where I typically run this, which is in our neighborhood, it's great for driving around the neighborhood. It's great on grass, it's great on concrete, it's great on loose gravel, dirt, that type of stuff. Beyond that, this thing has a couple of key features which I think are important for like an everyday type of basher, kind of fun-having type of RC car. And that is that it's brushless. The motor in it is brushless, not brushed. Basically means it's gonna have more power and more speed. And then it's also 4-wheel drive. And 4-wheel drive is fun for a couple reasons. Obviously, it's gonna give you more traction and it allows this thing to rip on grass a lot better. Grass, gravel, mud, that type of stuff. Even snow in the wintertime, it does pretty good. Versus 2-wheel drive, you just are gonna run into trouble. But beyond that, 4x4 is also nice because not only do you have 4x4 traction when you're moving, but you also have 4x4 traction when you're trying to slow down. The way that the brake systems works, they don't actually have brakes. They actually use the brushless motor to slow down the wheels. And when you hit the brakes on a 4x4 car like this one, it slows down all 4 wheels versus my VXL 2-wheel drive Slash, when you hit the brakes, it just slows down the rear wheels and they'll oftentimes lock up and it's just not as much stopping power. And I think in general, these short course trucks, specifically the 1/10, are a good platform as like an all-around daily driver, like your daily go-to RC car. You keep it in the garage. I use this a lot at home, like I work remotely, and so at the end of the day, like maybe after I put the kids to bed, I have time to burn like 1 battery, and this is typically the car that I use. And the reason I like this over, say, like, I don't know, some of the bigger, more complex cars like maybe my UDR or even something like an X-Max down the road is the size. Again, I think it's really important if you're new to RC and you're considering some different options, it's really important to consider where you will realistically be operating this car on a daily basis. And for me, my reality is in a neighborhood, sidewalks, curbs, streets, grass, that type of stuff. For me, like the 1/10 scale 4x4 short course truck really kind of fits the ticket pretty well. And so I've really been having a lot of fun with it in my environment. The other thing that I love about these is a lot of my rigs these days, both crawlers and 1/10 scale RC in general, they all use either a 2S or a 3S 5,000 milliamp battery, which is just nice to have a common battery size across all your platforms because you can charge one type of battery up, and then you can use it across all of your RC stuff. And for this, my 1/10 scale short course trucks, Violet's truck, I have a bunch of other 1/10 scale stuff, and all my 1/10 scale crawlers, they all use the common battery size. And even the 1/8 or 1/7 scale Traxxas Ultimate Desert Racer, it also can use these 2S and 3S batteries too, which is pretty awesome. Again, I love the 4x4 nature of it. It's just good all around. I found myself really enjoying two-wheel drive in a lot of different ways, but I definitely would be wanting more if I didn't have a separate 4x4 to go to. If you're looking for your only one single RC car, I would probably go 4x4 over two-wheel drive. But again, it goes back to the user and where you're going to be using it. And then the other thing too, like this Bronco body, the 1/10 scale class, both the crawlers and the short course trucks, there's just a lot of options. There's a lot of parts, there's a lot of modifications if you're into modding your stuff. And then for me specifically, I really like that there's a ton of variety when it comes to custom aftermarket bodies. And that's how I was able to find this 1981 Ford Bronco. And this would fit on this Tenacity 1/10 scale, but it would also fit on a Slash, it'd fit on an Arma. You can put these things on anything. Really, all you got to pay attention to is your wheelbase. And most of the short course trucks, no matter who make them, they all have very similar wheelbases. And so you can fit a lot of different bodies on here and kind of make it look your own style, which is pretty cool. So Violet is using a 1/10 scale Traxxas Slash. How's it going, Vi?
Good.
Show them how you go. Do some driving.
This is how you brake. So you go forward first and then go backward.
Yeah, you push it forward. All right, so that was pretty cool. Vi, what do you think about Daddy's blue truckie?
It's really cool.
Thanks, I appreciate it. So let me know if you like this video. As you guys know, I've been mixing it up on the channel, trying different formats. So let me know what you like, let me know what you don't like. Let me know if you want to see more of my RC fleet, kind of a little bit more in detail, kind of like I did with this Losi Tenacity. We can kind of show you off Violet's rig that she's been using, or any of my other RC stuff. Leave a comment down in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do so. I'm trying to do a video like this every month, give or take. Thank you guys for your patience on that. And until the next one, see you guys next time. Thanks for stopping by.
Make sure to subscribe and goodbye.